The girls used to be killed just after birth. Various methods were used, like licking some opium in her mouth. At times she was suffocated. At times left open in the extreme of weather, so she used to die herself. I think now people are using technology to know the sex of the child in the womb. It's become easier to kill because that feeling of guilt which they used to have earlier is no more.
The villagers in Bashika Talab are unusually excited this afternoon.
Hello my chick.
A performer by the stage name of Shahanshah Jadugar, or Emperor Magician in Hindi, will be entertaining them soon. A rare treat for the 165 families living 20 kilometers from Lucknow, capital of Uttar Pradesh state in India. The sweltering heat hasn't stopped the crowd from waiting patiently in the open.
प्लान इंडिया द्वारा प्रस्तुत किया जा रहा है तो मैं चाहता हूं कि जादू का कार्यक्रम देखने से पहले जोरदार तालियां
22-year-old Muhammad Wasim Khan has been a part-time magician since the age of 15. Parties and social events, he's done it all. But the law undergraduate has also been using his special talent for a more meaningful cause: saving girls from being killed in the womb.
हमारा जुड़ने का मकसद सिर्फ इसमें एनजीओ में काम करना नहीं है। हमारा जुड़ने का मकसद जो सोशल वर्क हो रहा है इसका ये पीछे कि गांव-गांव जाकर हम अपनी बात कह पा रहे हैं। बहुत ज़रूरी है मुद्दा। इसका तो समाज में बहुत बुरा असर हो रहा है। लोग जांच-वांच करा के जो भ्रूण हत्या कर रहे हैं, ये बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है। इसीलिए हम इसमें जुड़े भी हैं।
Within minutes, the villagers are spellbound by the Emperor Magician. For a moment, the tragic consequences of female feticide, girl discrimination, and a declining sex ratio have all vanished into thin air. In the world of illusion, the girls are given powers that few of them dare dream of having in their lifetime, if they're given the right to be born at all.
मैं ये नहीं दावा करता कि गांव में गया सब एक तरफ से सब समझ गए। हम गांव में गए, सभी को समझाया, 2, 4, 10, 15 बेटियां अगर बच गई तो बहुत बड़ा काम है। इसी तरह से हम बहुत बेटियों को बचा सकते हैं।
India's 2011 census shows that the country's sex ratio is at an all-time low since its independence. The figure is alarming: 914 girls to every 1,000 boys, from newborns to 6-year-olds. More than 4 million girls have been killed before birth over the last 3 decades in India. To end this deadly practice, non-governmental organization Plan India launched a campaign, Let Girls Be Born, in 6 states, including the national capital of Delhi.
लड़की नहीं चाहते लोग, क्यों?
क्यों इसलिए नहीं चाहते क्योंकि इधर शादी करनी होती है। तो बहुत
In Uttar Pradesh, Plan India works with its local partner Vatsalya to fight against female feticide. Vatsalya's field workers have been meeting monthly with village youths in 5 districts over the last 1.5 years.
Our efforts in this program, Let's Girl Be Born, is that we attach some value. Let's Girl Be Born not because they are going to reproduce further, not because they are going to cook further, not because of their girls and some duties are to be performed at home, but because they are the equals and they have the same right of life as the boys have. So small changes have to happen within the societal norms, within their culture, within their values.
Small changes have gradually seeped into the subconsciousness of village youths like 20-year-old Vanita. She exudes confidence that's unseen by rural women of her mother and great-grandmother's generations.
जो चला आ रहा है पहले से हमारे यहाँ रीतियाँ, तो उसके अनुसार लड़कों को ज़्यादा सम्मान दिया जाता था, लेकिन आज हम लोग शिक्षित हैं और उसी अनुसार सोचे तो हमारे यहाँ लड़की को भी समान अवसर देकर उसे आगे हम पढ़ना चाहते हैं और कुछ बनना चाहते हैं। फिर आगे मिलिट्री के बाद फिर नेत्रदान करना चाहते हैं और बहुत मतलब दूसरे की सहायता करना ज़्यादा हमें पसंद है। वैसे तो देखा जाए लड़के की घटती जनसंख्या के अनुसार तो स्थिति तो बहुत गंभीर है वैसे। और अगर हम लोगों का प्रोग्राम चालू रहा हम लोग।
There's also the dream of Dr. Neelam Singh.
Hello, good morning.
The gynecologist founded Vatsalya, meaning affection towards children in Sanskrit, with her late pediatrician husband in 1995.
Ambitious, they want to do it, but there is no way out. So this gives us a way out.
The couple shared the passion of crusading for girl-child rights until her husband succumbed to leukemia 4 years later. Despite coming from the Rajput caste, where sex discrimination is rampant, Dr. Neelam had a blissful childhood. She was not discriminated in her family, and her civil servant father also supported her medical education.
This unwantedness for daughters was always there in the society. That is how I was very, very keen to understand why such disparities exist in some families. And this favorable environment became a factor within me that I wanted to have all other girls in the country to have the same environment which I had been through, and I am so privileged to have it in my childhood.
Believing every child is a gift from God, the gynecologist is always enthusiastic about sharing a new bundle of joy with the family. This morning, the joy is sweeter for Father Irfan. The baby is the family's second boy. The arrival of a baby boy is often celebrated by Indian families, while the bearing of a girl child can sometimes bring domestic violence.
People never used to expel the women who is producing daughters in the family, but now we have cases where the women are being expelled from the house, they are being chopped their noses, they are being killed. There are instances where we find that the girl was, the woman was killed in the womb. She was shot at the womb because they could not bear the news that she is carrying a female child inside the womb. So, this hostility which has come up with passage of time and with this technology and the changing environment is something I say that the environment is very hostile for women.
The technology which Dr. Neelam is most worried about is the ultrasound machine. These machines started mushrooming in the 1990s. There are now close to 45,000 such machines in India, offering a quick and easy way to determine the sex of the fetus. As a result, about 2,000 unwanted female fetuses are aborted every day.
They're using a technology helping out people. The woman who's sitting in front of her, she's demanding it, she's under pressure, she's been being harassed by the family, and if I can help her out, I would do that. So it's very mechanical behavior without realizing what one is doing.
Although the Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act was passed in 1994 to deter sex determination of fetuses, monitoring has been lax. Punishment like a 5-year jail sentence and a fine of up to $2,000 is hardly meted out since convictions are few.
This proposal is there in the government, but we are highly opposing it.
Errand doctors are lured by easy money from families who are willing to fork out $20 to $100 for an ultrasound scan. And the cost of an abortion is as low as $20.
This patriarchal, deep-rooted system is not going to change in a day or two, or in 10 years or 20 years. It is going to take centuries to change.
Dowry is often blamed for the hostility against girls. Parents have to pay dowry to the in-laws when their daughter gets married. Although this custom was banned by the government as early as 1961, it is still illegally practiced and takes the guise of gifts today. Cultural norms also have a part to play. Most Indian parents live with their sons until death. It's also the son who lights the funeral pyre. And in some communities, only men are allowed to send off the departed. Changing mindsets takes time. Dr. Neelam has been counseling hundreds of women and families for more than 20 years, persuading them to let nature take its course, stopping them from using the ultrasound machine for sex detection and aborting unwanted girls.
I think it's repetitive visits. I buy my time, I ask them to come again and again, and I try to convince not only the patient as a woman, but I try to convince more the husband, the mother-in-law, the environment in which, as I said, it is the environment which propels a woman to undergo it. So that entire environment has to be sensitized. It takes 3-4 sittings with the patient. And at times I fail also because they do not come back to me. Failures are much more than success.
Despite being occasionally ostracized by people in her fraternity, Dr. Neelam continues her lonely crusade with resolve. In India, the low sex ratio has resulted in a slew of complex social problems. Over in Haryana, the state with the fewest women, desperate men are increasingly treating women as commodities, trafficking girls as brides and sex slaves. At 24, Hari Singh Yadav is regarded as old and unmarriageable in his village. His 3 younger brothers, all above 16, are also left on the shelf. Like most of the people living in Mewat district, Hari is a Muslim. So boys are expected to be married by the age of 16, while girls by 14. Much lower than the legal age of 21 for men and 18 for women in India.
यहाँ स्थिति सब खराब है। यहाँ लड़कों की शादी नहीं होती है और यहाँ पर लड़कियों की कमी है।
More than half the population in Mewat is illiterate, making it the most backward district in Haryana state. Living in the Indian state with huge sex ratio, men like Hari have become reluctant bachelors. Traditionally, men here marry women outside their village to avoid inbreeding. But when nature is disturbed, man has to pay the price.
एक गाड़ी चलाता था एक लड़का, वो आया, उसने बोला मैं करा दूंगा शादी, उसके साथ गए फिर वे यहाँ आदमी लाए, उन्होंने ज़्यादा पैसे मांगे, हमने उनसे इनकार कर दिया। दे देंगे साहब उनके लिए 10-20 हज़ार रुपये जो लोग मांगेंगे, ये तो है नहीं कि उनके लिए 2-4 लाख रुपए दे दें। उन जेब में रख लिया उन्होंने शादी करा दी, ऐसे पैसे नहीं देंगे।
The consequences of missing girls in Haryana are more dire than they seem. Haryana has the dubious honor of being one of the 3 states in India that buys brides. The other 2 are Punjab and Rajasthan. The victims are often girls under 15. They're tricked or abducted and sold to middle-aged men by truck drivers or rackets. The trafficked girls come from poorer states like Assam, Bihar, Jharkhand and West Bengal. Laila is one of the 5 trafficked brides in Udikidala village, about 140 kilometers from Delhi.
उसकी कोई वैल्यू और मार्केट नहीं, उसको सब नीचे नज़रन से देखते हैं, यानी कि जैसे मैं हूँ। मैंने कि ऐसे शादी वादी नहीं होता है जैसे तुमने शादी, बोलता है हमारे यहाँ ऐसा ही होता है।
Unregistered at birth, Laila doesn't know her actual age. She can only recall leaving her home in Jharkhand when she was about 10 to help her pregnant cousin living 100 kilometers away. It was a trip of no return. Laila's cousin, who is a nurse, conspired with her teacher husband to sell Laila to a man 20 years her senior for 25,000 rupees or $500. A trafficked girl is worth less than a well-bred buffalo, which can cost more than $1,000.
15-10 दिन तक खाने नहीं खाया, धोखा हुआ है। मैंने ये सोची थी कि इसके साथ शादी हुई तो एक बार गांव जाएगा, वो छोड़ आएगा, फिर नहीं आएंगे। लेकिन जब बच्ची पेट में पड़ गई, फिर मम्मी पापा को समझदारी देना पड़ा, मेरे को भी समझदारी दिया, इसलिए वजह से।
20 years on, Laila is a mother of 5, poor and broken. Still, she can count herself lucky for being sold only once and not beaten up by her buyer. With no regular income from her alcoholic husband who drives a taxi in another state, Laila has to sometimes toil in the farm for $2 a day to feed her children. Till today, this daughter of a coal mining laborer is struggling to accept her ill fate.
मेरी ज़िंदगी तो खराब ही समझो। वो तो कोई नर्स बन चुकी है, डॉक्टर नहीं बड़ी पढ़ लिख के, और छोटी बहन भी अच्छे मास्टर के घर में, मास्टर आदमी के घर में, यानी कि मम्मी पापा ने पढ़ाया। मैं तो देखने के लिए आई थी, ऐसा नहीं था कि मैं शादी करने के लिए आ रही हूँ।
समझना जानना जरूरी है, शर्माना नहीं।
Non-governmental organization Empower People estimates that Haryana has 45,000 trafficked girls. 8 out of 10 have been sold more than twice, creating a modern sex and labor slavery industry.
The trafficker develop the local contacts. Then they speak that we need some girls. We will give good jobs in Delhi, in in Haryana. They speak. They take them in their confidence. They came because they are illiterate and at the same time they are poor. So they need money. They need good food. So they think it might be they will help us. So this is the problems, typical problems. And after coming here, she is being used and being sold 2 to 10 times. This process. Some girls face the 2 times, 3 times, 5 times. After a quite long time, what happens when they try to, they settle down here, because when she will go back, the people will not accept. So what she will do? She will adjust with the life. She will, whether she is happy or unhappy, she will have to manage with the so-called husband.
That somewhat sums up the story of Salma, who lives in Madhi, another village in Mewat district. Her nightmare began when she was 12. She followed a man who promised her a better life and good education.
नू लाया अगले चलो तार मामान का घर हून दिखा के लावा। हमने कहा पतो ही अगले हून ले जा रहा हूँ, ट्रेन बिठा दिए। जब फिर हमने नहीं पता चली अब कहाँ भी अखन ले जाना जाने परेशानी जब बाहर रहे माँ बाप को चिंता करा माँ बाप हूँ चिंता करा अगली मेरी लड़की कहाँ.
After leaving her home in Assam by train to a small village in Haryana, Salma was sold to a 50-year-old abusive alcoholic.
पेट में खान के लिए ना दिए और फिर मारा पूटी करे और पढ़ दिए इसका और वैसे जाना पूछा तो हाँ ना और चालाक लड़की हो तो भाग जा तो आप इतने चालाक ना है बस मेरे भाई एक पढ़ो लिखो कुछ चालाक है हुआ नहीं ढूंढते पता करो माँ बाप रोया माँ बाप भी रोया मैं भी रोई जाना चाहा इन्हें ना भेजा गुस्सा खूब आता.
2 years later, Salma was sold again to another abusive laborer for $100. After keeping her for a year, he resold her for $160 to a man with whom she's been living for the last 20 years. Now, bogged down with 7 children, Salma is resigned to her impoverished life.
अब तो खुशी अब ढालो अब तो घने बालक होगा अब तो खुशी है अब तो राजा हम जिंदगी और को साथ मत होए जैसे मेरे साथ हुए.
Shaukat Ali has been trying to help women like Salma for the last 6 years. He's one of the 8 young social activists who founded Empower People in 2006 to fight against female feticide in India. Now the NGO focuses on trafficked brides.
Empower People has saved 450 girls, whether by mentioning her name in the ration card, identity proof, making them and proving them that she is the real wife. In very rare cases, we try if somebody is ready to get married with that particular lady. So we try, but generally it is very tough to arrange the marriage, right? So we try to send them if she is ready and their parents is ready to accept her. So we try to send them here if that lady is ready. If she is not ready, then we try that you should be treated like a real wife, and your name should be in ID card. You should understand that this property is not only the property of your husband, this is the property of your own also. So we do like that.
Empower People is based in Delhi and has 3 other offices in Bihar and Haryana states.
कैसे इन पारों की जिंदगी कैसे हो जाएगी ऐसे इनको बुढ़ापा आ जाएगा ऐसे जैसे बेचारे पर धक्के खाते रहेंगे इसे.
This Spartan office in Mewat district is managed by Gausia Khan. According to Shaukat, Gausia is a trafficked bride who prefers to leave her past far behind. She had never once called herself a trafficked bride, always putting up a very stoic front, almost like a modern feminist.
बहुत दुख देखी और बहुत जो सो धक्के खाई और बहुत कुछ मैंने परेशानी देखी और यहाँ तलक रात दिन मरने की नौबत में भी रह ली. बहुत सता लिए पहाड़ों में भी घुमा दिए निकाल दिए घर से जेठ देवर फिर भी मैं अपने उस पर दम पे रह के आज मैं ये अपना काम शुरू करी.
Trafficked women like these often steal time to meet Gausia secretly here. She'll share with them practical knowledge on basic legal rights and also helps them to register for ration cards, all at a high price.
मेरा कुछ जान का भी जो खतरा बन सकता है ऐसा भी होता है. अब हम किसी के बच्चे लाने के लिए गए जब भी मेरे लिए जान का खतरा बन जाता बोलते इसको मारेंगे ये एक मर जाएगी तो फांस तो इससे तो बिल्कुल जान का ख़त्म ही कर दो इसको फिर तो कोई आएगी नहीं इसे. ये बहुत ज़्यादा जो से यहाँ पर ये करने लगी वो है ये है ऐसा बात करने लगी. कोई ऐसा आदमी नहीं है जो इन औरतों के लिए पारों के लिए ये बोलेगा. सरपंच तलक नहीं बोलेगा पुलिस तलक नहीं बोल पुलिस भी बोलती क्या है पारो है चलो भगो यहाँ से.
Threats from men who bought trafficked brides and the lack of funds have hampered Empower People from setting up rehabilitation shelters for trafficked women.
We can train them, we can give them the vocational training like how to, savings and embroidery work like that. So she can work, she can, do the livelihood herself. We try for that also, but due to, that financial problem, we are unable to do that. Empower people is the only or lonely voice and the strong voice in the India. Nobody want to come inside the villages and want to keep, that is very dangerous for all.
Giving the oppressed a voice takes courage, and the courage to empower them has to start right from birth. The right to be born. The right to birth registration that comes with education and health benefits. In 2011, a newborn girl in India received more than her fair share of attention. Baby 7 billion marked a significant milestone in the journey of championing the survival rights of girls who often never have the chance to take their first breath. On the day the United Nations projected the world's population to pass 7 billion, child rights organization Plan India considered Uttar Pradesh as the likeliest place to welcome baby 7 billion. 11 babies are born every minute in this most populous state in India. Uttar Pradesh also has the most missing girls. There are only 899 girls for every 1,000 boys here. It's here that baby Nargis received more than her fair share of attention.
It's more symbolic than actual 7 billion because a child is being born every second. So are we going to say that this second one was born in Asia and one was born here? So it is definitely symbolic. Just the idea that we should take a girl child as the 7th billion child and bring focus to female infanticide and in a community where women are not treated well and there's a huge incidence of female infanticide happening was the idea behind this whole project.
The entire Danau village in the outskirts of Lucknow celebrated the arrival of the symbolic 7 billionth person on planet Earth. The 3-kilogram baby has made her parents, Ajay Kumar and Vanita, unusually proud. In a country where skewed sex ratio and latent gender biases hold back the potential of millions of girls, their daughter is destined for a better life. Nargis and 6 other baby girls from the same community are sponsored by 7 eminent women from India. The women are supporting the girls for their first 7 years, the key period for survival and childhood development. This gesture has made Nargis an ambassador for girls' survival rights.
We tied them up with empowered women, women of substance, where the parents, the community and the child itself, once she becomes conscious, to see that she has been sponsored by a woman who have achieved a lot in society and that they could actually become their role models and they could become like that and they should not be, they should not think of themselves as the weaker gender in a society where they are living and they aspire to be something.
Aarti Kirloskar not only spearheaded the Baby 7 Billion initiative, she's also the eminent woman who's sponsoring Baby Nargis. She holds a master's degree in fine arts and is a convener of the Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage.
I felt when my whole experience with Nargis and her parents, the parents immediately said, our child is going to get educated, she will become a doctor. So they had already started looking at these women and said, you know, my daughter is going to aspire to do something. I think that was very important, to build those bridges between this India and that India. We have visited a number of projects in the villages. One of the things which has touched me and which I felt very strongly about was that girls, when they reach puberty, they don't have toilets that they can go to, you know. Then I heard incidents of where in very close villages and in schools which are in villages, the girls, if they go out in the morning for going to the toilet, are either raped or there's a lot of incidents of abuse. So that was very shocking for me to encounter and see. And then female infanticide, seeing girls being killed, seeing villages where, you know, so many, the ratio has deteriorated so much. Villages where you only see mostly boys roaming around, very few girls. I think these are some of the things which impacted you, and even though living in an urban society you don't see it, but when you go to the villages and you see it.
Dr. Neelam Singh is always looking forward to Saturday mornings. At times, she would drive up to 600 kilometers to get to the villages outside Lucknow. And waking up at 4 in the morning for the long drive is never a hassle. This weekend routine means a lot to the busy gynecologist.
It's important that I go to them, I mix with them, I talk to them, and I make that connect with them, so it's important. Secondly, Vatsal has got many programs, at times at far-off districts also. So it's important that I go, I understand what are the problems in implementation. And there are issues, there are gaps, there are challenges. So if I go, I sit with my team, I become one of them, and that way the team gets energy. And I do get energy, so it's mutual learning and sharing every time.
Today, Dr. Neelam is visiting Kadura village, 45 kilometers from her home in Lucknow.
Eliminating sex discrimination in the area or any community is a difficult task. And for that, I think we have to work very hard with all age groups. Like, we have to work hard with children when their ideas are forming, when they're socializing within the communities. During the social process, they have to understand. They have to stop discriminating then. 1, 2, 3.
Changing the behaviors and mindsets of the young is often easier than remolding the psyche of older adults. All it takes is some good fun, a few unexpected challenges to push them out of their comfort zone, and that sets them thinking.
फुटबॉल खेले जाता है भैया? हाँ, तुम गई रहोगे भी फुटबॉल खेले? नहीं गई हो. If you would have observed, when I started the game, the girls were standing at one side, the boys were other side, and holding hands was difficult for them. And during the game, I introduced the game. I told them that today the boys are going to do girls' job and the girls will be doing boys' job. Like, girls will be going to the market and they will going to shop things for the household, and the boys will be washing utensils, they will be cooking. So boys were very surprised on this. So when I told them that we are equals, God has given us the same status, whether it is a boy or a girl, it's only who differentiates. So they said the family differentiates, the society differentiates. I said, who has made these norms? They said the society has made these norms. So I said, should we do it? Should we discriminate? They said, no, we shouldn't do it. We are equals.
The future is in the hands of the young. Vatsalya has been training many of them across 5 districts in Uttar Pradesh to be girl rights champions. In turn, the youths are using their own creativity to educate and hopefully change the mindsets of their fellow villagers.
In the rural areas, the ease of communication, because people have time, they always welcome you. And I think not with ladies only, I would say with the children also, because as they grow, they develop such strong gender norms and roles within them. So it's important that we start from very early stage. The ease is that in rural pockets when you go, the people are there to admit that this is the scenario. The elite educated people do not even admit. So there is denial in the urban areas. So working with them, we need a different strategy. And working with rural pockets, it's different. Working with urban elites is challenging because they don't give you that space.
What limits most women are social cultural norms, so deep-rooted here that educated women are also under immense pressure and influence.
That even if you're educated, you might not be enlightened. So education is sometimes only about yourself and about what you want to do, and enlightenment is when you see communities and you see other projects, you actually realize that small little gestures that you do about sex determination, what impact it can have on the society, and or what impact it can happen in villages as such, where it is not just about having a son which will take care of your family business, but when you do a sex determination and the women are killed and the women are actually treated badly, you see it in a different context.
Education may not always make a better man or woman. But if the purpose of education is to replace a closed mind with an open one, then there's hope for girls and women in India. Change, though slow, is sweeping gently across India, the world's biggest democracy. Inequality and violence is an inescapable reality for many women in India. Millions are lost to feticide. Millions have less to eat, are denied education and forced into early marriages. 1 in 3 women have suffered physical or sexual violence. And a woman dies of dowry dispute almost every 4 hours.
जैसे ही जेंडर इशू पे बात करना शुरू करते हैं, पहली बात तो एक नज़र में हमें जो है महिला मतलब पुरुष विरोधी साबित कर दिया जाता है। जो भी दबाव झेलती है वो सबको हमको वायलेंस के अंतर्गत रखना पड़ेगा, तभी हम इसको ख़त्म कर पाएंगे, इस बराबरी को ला पाएंगे। और दूसरा एक बहुत चैलेंज है जो हमारे जो कास्ट सिस्टम है, जो रिलीजन है, जो क्लास है, इन सारे चीज़ों को अगर हम इस जेंडर पे बात करते के समय अगर इनकॉर्पोरेट करते हैं तो वो बहुत दिक्कत हो जाती है, वो इसको सुनना नहीं चाहते। और जो स्त्री और पुरुष का अनुपात है वो लगातार घटता जा रहा है।
Today, Veena Rana and a theatre group from Lucknow are putting up a half-hour street play on gender discrimination. For the past 2 weeks, they've been going to nearly 30 schools and colleges in 4 Haryana districts. These districts have female ratio below 850.
क्योंकि हरियाणा को अगर देखा जाए तो सबसे ज़्यादा पैट्रियार्कल सोसाइटी, बहुत सारे स्कूल्स और कॉलेज तो हमें एंटर करने नहीं देते हैं, टाइम नहीं देते हैं कि हम ये कैंपेन का ये प्ले कर पाएँ। सेकंड चैलेंज जब हम परफॉर्म करते हैं यूथ्स के साथ तब आता है, क्योंकि वो शुरुआत में उसको बहुत हंसी मजाक में लेते हैं और बहुत वल्गर कमेंट्स भी करते हैं, लेकिन जब जैसे ही हमें टाइम मिलता है और जैसे ही हमें इसको स्पेस मिलता है हम उसको क्लैरिफाई कर देते हैं और मुझे लगता है बहुत जल्दी आसानी से वो समझ भी पाते हैं।
धूप का ये नाटक देखो, छाँव का ये नाटक देखो, धूप का ये नाटक देखो, छाँव का।
Colleges in Rohtak district are the last few to open their doors to Action Aid India, the NGO behind the campaign called Goonj or Echo in Hindi. It's the first time ActionAid is running this campaign that reaches out to 6,000 students.
देखा जमुरे, देखा तूने, ये है अपने हरियाणा का हाल।
अभी झज्जर में एक स्कूल था जहाँ पर हमने देखा कि वहाँ पर टीचर थी, वो नाटक देखते देखते बहुत तेज़ रोने लगी। तो हम और सारी लड़कियां हैं, हम कर क्या सकते हैं, क्या कर सकते हैं, और बिल्कुल सामने आ रहे हैं।
हम महिलाओं की स्वतंत्र अस्तित्वता और पहचान का सम्मान करेंगे। हम शपथ लेते हैं।
मैंने खुद भी इस बात में समर्थन करता हूँ, आई सपोर्ट इट, और मैं अपने परिवार में भी समझाता हूँ। यहाँ तक कि खुद मेरे भैया को भी 2 लड़कियां हैं, और मैं तो अपने पेरेंट्स को कहता हूं कि ठीक है, लड़कियां ही काफ़ी है, लेकिन थोड़े से उनकी थिंकिंग की वजह से वे चाहते हैं कि एक लड़का हो तो ठीक है। लेकिन मैं इस बात में विश्वास नहीं करता कि लड़के ज़्यादा बेटर हैं लड़कियों से। जब ये दुनिया में बराबर का हिस्सा मिलेगा लड़की को लड़कों जितना, और हम खुद समझेंगे और अपने आसपास इसके प्रति जागरूक करेंगे, तभी ये बराबर का हिस्सा होगा और तभी हमारा अच्छा मिलेगा लड़कियों को।
इस चीज़ के लिए सबसे पहले लड़कियों को आगे आना पड़ेगा। उनको अपनी इतना लेवल बना लेना चाहिए अपनी शिक्षा लेके कि भाई मैं खुद कर सकती हूँ, मैं कमा सकती हूँ, नहीं देती मैं दहेज लेना तो मुझको ही लो, बस एक अकेली मैं ही आऊँगी, मेरे साथ कुछ नहीं आएगा। एक ये भी चीज़ है सर, अपने में इतना पढ़ लेना चाहिए या फिर कोई भी इतना हुनर होना चाहिए किसी भी लड़की में कि वो अपना जीवन पर या कुछ भी खुद कर सके।
If economics are fundamental to changing culture, then there's a glimmer of hope for the girls in Barhana village. Girls are an endangered species here. There are only 768 girls to every 1,000 boys, the worst sex ratio in India. Not surprising, since Barhana is located in Jagja district, notoriously known as India's capital of female feticide. 8-year-old Ravina is fortunate to be alive and to have the chance to study till she's 18. She's among thousands of girls who are benefiting from the government scheme Latli or Loved One. It encourages parents to keep their daughters in school till they're 18. Although education is free and compulsory for children aged 6 to 14 in India, girls from impoverished families are neglected and often have to stop schooling to marry early.
लाडली स्कीम के तहत और इस शिक्षा का जो फ्री एजुकेशन है, इसके तहत सरकार के उससे लोगों में काफ़ी जागरूकता आई है। माँ बाप भी अपनी बच्चियों को स्कूल भेजते हैं, और विशेष करके जो भ्रूण हत्या का जो ये एक मैं कहूँगा कि दुष्प्रचार है या गलत भ्रांति है लड़की के प्रति, वो विशेष उन्होंने एक अभियान चलाया है स्कीम के तहत, और इससे भ्रूण हत्या में बहुत ज़्यादा फ़ायदा हुआ है, और अब जल्दी ही लड़कियों की रेशो लड़कों के बराबर आ जाएगी।
If Ravina continues her education right up to high school without disruption, she'll get as much as 100,000 rupees or $2,000 when she turns 18. The government has been progressively depositing money in a special bank account under her name since she was born. Such support not only helps lighten her Labour father's financial burden, it also changes her parents' perception of girls.
पढ़ा के कहीं तो लगेगी, ये सोच रही है। अच्छे पढ़ लिख कर बच्चे कितने आंगनबाड़ी में, कितने अस्पताल में, कितने तो काम आना चाहिए उनके लिए। आगे पढ़ लिख कर लड़की ज़्यादा जाती है।
लड़कियां लड़कों से शिक्षा में भी आगे हैं। कहना चाहूँगा कि लड़कियां बढ़ रही हैं, संख्या भी बढ़ रही है, और उनका जो मेंटल एटीट्यूड है वो भी लड़कों से आगे है।
These students from the only all-girls high school in Barhana village are primed for a challenge, their final examination. Pinky Alawat, who is now tested on her grade 9 mathematics, is looking forward to celebrating her 18th birthday next year. That's when she'll receive a handsome sum from the government for staying in school.
बेटी ने क्या खो दिया, सबका कहना
much luckier than her two elder sisters, as she's born just a year after the Haryana government launched the Apni Beti Apna Dharm, or Our Daughters, Our Wealth scheme in 1994.
वो अपनी स्कूल नहीं जाती हैं, अपनी ज़िंदगी खराब करती हैं, कुछ पढ़ेंगी तो कुछ बनेंगी। जैसे सोनिया गांधी, लक्ष्मीबाई, ये बनना चाहते हैं, अच्छे बनना चाहते हैं, जो देश का भला करे।
वास्तव में जो ये है एजुकेशन से बहुत ज़्यादा इसमें इम्प्रूवमेंट होगी। एक पढ़ी लिखी महिला होगी, वो अपने बच्चों के भविष्य के बारे में ज़्यादा सोचेगी।
At this moment, 17-year-old Pinky is enjoying her carefree days with her two younger sisters. The thought of motherhood is far from her mind. With two elder sisters married off before completing their education, Pinky wants her younger siblings to have a better future.
मेरी बहनें बहुत बड़ी बने ताकि कुछ अच्छा करें, जाके देश के लिए भला करें। वो बहुत पढ़ें, पूरी क्लास करें।
For centuries, Indians have worshipped thousands of goddesses for their strength and wisdom, like Durga, who represents Shakti, or power.
But we have seemed to lose that idea, that concept, that knowledge. And I think we need to go back and look at it and say that if women have always been, said that they are strong, that they are powerful women, then why is it that in this society now we treat them as weak, as something which are not to be looked at? We need to learn from our past and, prop up these women and unleash their inner Shakti.
The women in this Haryana temple have unleashed their energy while celebrating Holi festival. It's the time of the year when the fields are in full bloom and people are expecting a good harvest. Many legends surround this colourful Indian festival, all hailing the virtue of good over evil. Holi festival in 2012 is special. It falls on 8 March, International Women's Day, which honours women throughout the world. And for those in India, they look forward to the day that they too will be regarded as half the world's future.